Recorded.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Town of Thompson Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting on Monday, June 23rd, 2025, here at the Merrill Cine Room in Town Hall and on Zoom. Let us stand as we are able, please, for pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Get to the agenda items for citizens' comments. We ask anyone speaking to state their name and address for the record. Limit their comments to 3 minutes speaking time unless otherwise directed by the chair, and to address all comments to the chair in a civil and respectful manner. Item 2, I will now take a roll call. Mr. Lenke, if you'll begin.
John B. Lenke, present.
Ryan Knoyer.
Randy Blackman, Juan Santos,
Ray Williams.
Jane Salsey.
Russ Robin.
Mike Philbin.
Joseph Perotti Brown. And seeing no alternates, we will seat no alternates. Item 3, public hearing, there is none. Item 4, discuss public hearings and possible action, none. Item 5, citizens' comments. I see none in the room. If you are in Zoom and wish to raise your hand or unmute yourself to be recognized.
There it was.
Yeah.
He had his hand up before.
Okay, I see none. Item 6, and here I'm going to make a motion to amend the.
I wanted to speak.
Sorry, go ahead, Mr.
Sorry. Robert Mann, 15 Meadow Drive.
And if you could just come closer to the microphone
all.
for.
Robert Mann, 15 Meadow Drive. I just wanted to take a few moments to speak about non-conforming use of properties in town. I wanted to make everybody copies. I didn't really get a chance to. Yeah, I'll definitely give you a copy. And then you can pass it around if people want to look at it, but basically the non-conforming use is a state statute that protects it. If people have been using their property in a specific manner, they get protected by the state of Connecticut. So you can't be violated for zoning ordinances if they've had that use for 3 years. And that's about all I wanted to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan, do you want?
Yeah.
Thank you. My apologies for. Yes. Seeing no others, item 6, I would make a motion to amend the agenda to include the approval of minutes for the June 14th site walk. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Ms. Salsi. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion to amend is approved unanimously. So we'll get to the regular meeting of May 26, 2025.
Move the minute to approve as printed.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Blackmer, seconded by Mr. Knoyer. Any discussion? Mr. Williams?
I wasn't in on that meeting, but I've read the minutes from that meeting and a previous meeting. And there was something with the state that I read about sidewalks that were dumped down on northeast sand and gravel. And that the state was asked to pull them out, if I read it correctly, and then they were said that they can be ground. And I'm just wondering, I don't know if this is the place to ask it or what, but who gave the state the permission to dump them sidewalks on private property that the town don't own?
So I'll direct you to hold on to that till citizens' comments and
Commissioner comment.
or I'm sorry, commissioner comments, and direct that question to us at that time.
Mr. Chairman, we just point out that Kai's for Levac entered at 7:04.
Okay, thank you. We will seat her for Mr. Hill.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Orr. Welcome.
Thank you.
I just have an item 6B on page 1. 7 A and B on page 2. And the final line of 12A on page 4. My yes vote is not reflected in the minutes. It is reported that the vote was unanimous, but my name and vote is not there. So just to amend with that correction. Is there a second to that amendment?
I'll second it for you.
Any further all those in favor of making such amendments, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then I guess, Mr. Blackmer, will you amend your motion to approve as amended? Will you second the
Yes,
motion
second.
as amended? So the motion has been made to approve the minutes as amended by Mr. Blackmer, seconded again by Mr. Neuer. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The minutes are approved. Item 6B of the site walk of June 14th. We do have those minutes in our packet as well. I will move their approval. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion made by the chair, seconded by Ms. Salsi. Any discussion on the minutes of the site walk of June 14th? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Krogel abstains. Mr. Santos abstains. Due to your absence? Mr. Santos, due to your absence? All other members voting yes. All other present members voting yes, I should say. And then item 6C, subcommittee meeting of June 16th. Motion to approve made by Mr. Santos,
I'll second.
seconded by Ms. Salsi. Any discussion on the motion to approve? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining. Mr. Blackmer abstains due to absence. I will note that I was absent, but did watch the recording. And so vote to approve. Excuse me. Item 7, applications received, application 25-18. Applicant Mahakal Incorporated, Ken Mahakal, property owner Neil P. LLC of 520 Riverside Drive, Zone DMRD, request to move Thompson Liquor from 520 Riverside Drive, units A, B, and C to 520 Riverside Drive, units I and J, according to zoning regulations, Article 12, 275 number 16.
Move to approve.
Motion has been made to approve the application.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Krogel. The motion was made by Mr. Knoyer. Any discussion on the motion to approve?
That's okay, Kroger.
It was a tie vote,
Oh, I didn't hear.
and this one's got my good ear, so.
I was just gonna say, I didn't hear. Trying to help you out.
Everybody read my, memo on that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Santos says was like.
No.
No, Mr. Krogel.
Kroger.
Yeah, Santos already has his name in the minutes a couple times.
There we go.
Okay,
Oh, Mr. Hill.
Ms. Orr.
We're just
Oh,
seeking-
no, am I in trouble?
No, you're just not voting anymore.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Hill has arrived at
Oh, good.
7:09, and I just saw a note in the Zoom, if the commissioners could make sure to speak up. They're having challenge hearing us, some of us. So the motion has been made and seconded to approve application 25-18. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, a yes vote will approve, a no vote will deny. Mr. Lanky.
John B. Lincoln, yes.
Ryan Knoyer, yes.
Randy Blackmer, yes. Brian Santos, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
Jane Salsi, yes.
Russ Robin, yes.
Mike Rutherford, yes.
We're on 2518 if you'd like to vote.
What's that?
We're on 2518 if you'd like to vote. Is the moving the.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mr. Hill votes yes, and Joseph Purdy Brown votes yes. That is a unanimous approval for application 25-18. Item 8, applications received after the agenda was posted.
None.
There were none. Item 9, reports of officers and staff. Mr. Canoyer.
Yes. So. For the current fiscal period here. Paper. Available budget is currently $8,000, $8,048, spot 31. So we've used 83.3% of the available budget, which means that we have spent $40,211.69. We do have some very minor updates here to the expenditures this month. And I would say it was probably a little bit lighter than normal from what I can gather. There was really no line items of any reference, so it's just salaries. And we still have a decent amount available in the budget heading into end of the year. For over $8,000 left, and backing out the salaries, I think it does leave room, maybe along the lines of at least a couple $1,000. Where we could possibly expend that money. So I think it's a use it or lose it. All.
I don't see him at the meeting either, so. He's not on the agenda.
All good, right?
Okay, and so anyway, that's the update. Like I said, I think based on the projections, we'll probably have somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500 at minimum remaining by the end of our fiscal year, since we're on a non-traditional.
You hope.
We hope, yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen, I guess, in the next couple of days.
Ms. Saltzman.
Okay, I have a question. So right now it's $8,048.31. And yeah, we don't know when the budget is gonna pass. My question is that if we still have remainders, that goes back to the town, is that correct? So I have something that I've been thinking about, and this is because of what Mr. Lanky has brought up concerning the OWL system, that we would have enough money left in our budget to purchase that. And I have had a chance to see the OWL system and how well it works. It's a thought because the money's gonna go back to the town anyway, but has been allocated to us. So I am thinking I would like to see us purchase this system because it is a lot better than what we have. And we do have the money to do it at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. Do we need to bring that to some kind of a motion, and then we could maybe do it as a, let's see, what would be the word I would use? I would use, it would be subject to having funds available, because we have the uncertainty of the timing of the budget approval. But it does look like we're gonna have a surplus. So if we were to make a motion subject to having available funds, then those funds could be appropriated or
for it,
allocated towards that, as long as the commission, I think, voted on it and approved that. I think that's,
Ms. Penn.
Yeah,
Right.
before you go too far down this, normally that you would be absolutely right, Jane, and the commissions and departments do generally try to spend down their fiscal budgets.
Mhm.
All of the department heads and budgets have been essentially said it's a freeze now, if it wasn't already a pre-approved expense, because they're pulling so much out of the budget for the two failed referendum. So any vote that gets approved here would not be signed off by the selectmen.
Well, it would be subject to this, like what Ryan said, it would be subject to that. To be able to say yes, subject to the approval of what happens with the budget and what the selectmen's office would do.
Yeah, I don't think you're following me.
I am
Oh.
understanding what you're
Okay.
saying, Tara.
we have an appropriated amount of 48,000, so we have the right to spend it. is my
Yes,
understanding.
Yes,
We're not asking for new money.
no,
We're
we're
coming
not.
back
It's
to the
in
market.
our budget.
It's already approved last year, so.
I
don't think that.
I
the
understand what you're
selectmen can
saying, and I would normally be all in with you. What I'm telling you is that the selectman's office will not sign off on that if you put that through.
Well, no,
It's up on them.
it was, sorry, Mike,
Then it's up on them.
yes. that-
Mr.
yeah.
Did
Williams.
you being our head of our commission, did you say that you would not allocate money for something like that?
No, it was not. No,
So not all commission heads
it sounds
were
like,
asked about it.
yeah, it sounds like to staff department
Yeah.
heads is
It was
what you're
It was staff.
suggesting.
Yes, you guys are in a slightly different position in that you have a commissioner who monitors the budget as opposed to most of the commissions have a staff member who monitors the budget. I think they just missed telling you that.
So I think that there's a loophole here because it doesn't sound like that the selectman's office is gonna be able to tell us that we can't spend our
Exactly.
money. So
Exactly.
I would say that we, as a commission, should try to overrule what the selectman would try to come back with, because I don't think that. I don't think that's right. I don't think that she should be in a position to veto money that we've already been approved for. Again, we're not coming back to the market and asking it, so I would not want to run this through the selectman's office, but I would keep this here in this group and we vote on it.
The
'Cause we're
selectmen
also
sign off on all requisitions, Ryan.
Tara, we're separate. This is money that has been allocated and it is our money. If we do not spend it, it goes back into the town budget coffers. The money is there. We've all, not all of us, but a good portion of us have said we would like to see the owl come in because it is a much better system. Exactly.
We have all these line items here. I don't think that anybody signs off on all these.
No, they do
individual items.
not sign off on them.
I don't-
So this is not anything that is to be decided by the selectmen. It is the commission that decides what we do with our money. If the budget does not pass, then it'll be on hold until we see how long before the budget passes. But right now, we can't take the chance of losing that and not being able to get this system. So that's why I brought it up, and I would like to make the motion that we take a vote on this, subject to the budget. And what is, so if we go another 3 months and don't have a budget, then of course that's out. But if the next vote gets put through, then we do have the money available to do it. So I am making a motion in order to purchase this with the money that is allocated to the commission.
Yeah, we should-
Motion has been made
I
by,
will point out that the first selectman happened to come into the meeting while you guys were discussing this. You might want to ask for the rest of it.
a motion has been made by Ms. Salsi to authorize the purchase of the OWL system,
I'll second that motion.
seconded by Mr. Williams. Discussion on the motion. Mr. Williams, you had your hand up.
We just had people on here asking us to speak louder because they can't hear us. When we use the owl, everybody heard us. You could hear people that were 50 feet away talking. So if we had that owl, there's not gonna be side conversations because everybody's gonna hear what's going on. And, you know, we got people that can't hear us now. We have money on the side. And, we are our own commission. We should be able to spend the money for our commission that's allocated to us per year.
Okay, I've got John, Mike, Brian, then Alvin. Mr. Lenke?
To what Jane has said. And what Tara said is that the first selectman signs off, but the money that's in there is on our budget.
Yes,
And that's what we were going for in the first place, that Ryan and I went there and they said that it was gonna be taken out. As far as I'm concerned, the Board of Finance put it back into play for us. But they didn't take it out, but they just said, we don't know how this is gonna go with the referendums and everything. So whatever money we have in the budget, we have to have it there to keep us going for the next maybe month or two or whatever. But like you said, let's make the thing, but the Board of Finance really has the last word, their law.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
And that's
Yes.
what I want to get
Yes.
across here is because I went to just about every meeting and the consensus of the Board of Finance is they were all in favor of us getting the owl. But that would have been in the new budget as well. But nothing says anything about the old budget. That we cannot take this money. So if it goes into July and we're discussing this and there's gonna be, say, $4,000 off, which is just an example, even though we can get one
Yep,
for half the price.
Yep.
That money is still there and the new budget gets passed.
and we don't have that money left.
No, if it's still left and the new budget goes through, we still what should have time. So we should have one of us go to a meeting with the Board of, and let them know what's going on.
Okay, Mr. Krogel.
All right, so I understand that we have $8,000 extra, not extra, non-spent, which I think we should buy this system, because it is within our budget. My understanding, and I may be wrong, but as of June 30th,
Yes,
a new fiscal year starts.
yes,
And if we do not have a budget in place, the town, the finance board, whatever, we operate on the existing budget that
that's right,
has
right.
operated for
That's
this year.
Correct.
that's right.
We cannot increase it, but that money would be so-called given to us or appropriated for us to run for another year. So this money that we have now will not be following, if we don't spend it by June 30th, we lose it.
Mhm.
It will be going into the general coffers.
We
and
lose
We'll
it,
never see it again.
yep, we lose it.
Mr. Santos.
I just wanted to, I joined the Board of Finance meetings. I don't think this is a question about Board of Finance approval. We put it in the budget for next year. That's where the Board of Finance reviews it. We're talking about a different funding source that already exists. I don't think the Board of Finance has anything to do with it. That has already been approved before. But there's no question to the Board of Finance. I don't think this actually has to do with the owl at all. If our selectmen said put a freeze on it, this is about to respect them and their request. Put a freeze on the budget.
Mr. Hill.
John, you may know the price, but what kind of money are we talking we also?
Well, we can get two of them, and they were giving it to us for a discount from 4,000. They dropped it to 20, they gave us a 25%, went down to 35. But when I was talking to the rep and explained to him what's going on, how the company that sells it and everything, that makes it and everything, they're tickled pink that a municipality is getting involved, because this is a new market for them. So they're willing to give us, and they're willing to give us two of them for 35. But if we cannot get, and I said, there's the possibility we might not be able to buy two right away. If we took one, can we get one later? In my understanding from the representative from our, that person, they said it wouldn't be a problem. So we have the opportunity to get two, which would be sufficient, but one will work in a room this size. But if we go to the library or something, you actually need two because of the space. But what's that?
So it's two owls for $3,500?
Yes, right.
Actually, I think you had said 2 hours for 3,000, they gave you,
No, it was 4,000.
yeah,
And they gave us 25%. First it was 10, then, and whoever the representative talked to in the main office that is in marketing and everything, gave us another 15%. So they gave us 25, I knocked it right down to 3,500.
We could do one.
Ms. Salsi.
okay, so okay, we will get, if we went with the one for now, which I would like to see us get two, because I have seen this system and it is it's a whole lot better than what we have. And we are always hearing, like what Ray said, that people can't hear, they can't understand. And all I know, like what Mike said, if this money is not used, it goes back to the town coffers. And the budget, the Board of Finance, to go to what you said, Brian, they took it off the plate at the Board of Finance meeting. So it's not even in the budget for next year.
Right, correct.
So we
correct.
need to do it now in order, and we can put the stipulation in that it will be contingent upon what happens with the town budget. But I don't want to see the monies that we have left over, which is our budget, this commissioner's budget, so that we can avail ourselves of a better system. And it is better for the taxpayers of this town, so they can hear us.
Mr. Santos and then Mr. Krogel.
If we can call Amy, I just want to know what was said to me, to everybody officially.
Ms. St. Ange, did you hear the question?
She's at her speaker's off.
You're on mute,
Amy,
Amy.
if you're speaking, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I'm on my iPad and I'm not usually using my iPad.
No worries.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The question was, so we're having a conversation about a motion to appropriate funding for the purchase of an owl system. And it was brought up by Tira that the departments had been indicated that there would be a spending freeze. So the commission was asking you to weigh in on that.
Correct. In this climate where a lot of the people that are speaking right now are publicly saying to vote no on the budget, and to hear someone say that, oh, it might go to the coffers, this is irresponsible. I can hear every single one of you very clearly. And I can guarantee you that if you get another piece of technology, that there are going to be certain people that don't know how to use their own computer to hear clearly. This is just crazy. We are fighting to get a budget passed, and you're looking to spend every last dime that's in the budget. It's hypocritical. It is wrong. I agree. The technology is fantastic. There's a lot of technology we need in town, but we don't have the funds to purchase it. And just because there's a little bit of money left over, I don't understand why the same people that are saying to vote no are saying to spend the very last dimes that we have. It doesn't make any sense to me. So yes, we had told all of the department heads to put a freeze on spending. There was not going to be anything extra that was spent in this year's budget, because there's a chance that the budget fails again. If you're very concerned about people not being able to hear, we can go back to the way things used to be, when there wasn't online technology, when there wasn't virtual meetings. And I would propose that we do that before we spend an extra dime on a piece of equipment that we don't technically need. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Sinach. I have Mr. Krogel, then Ms. Salsi, then Mr. Santos.
Well, off my train of thought a little bit, but I've been through freezes before through the school system and everything else, and I do not believe that there's a freeze in the school system. And you can't prove it. I've always said this money's been approved. Am I for the budget being up and down? You've seen me posted online. I also have said that there should be a forensic audit in this town, which would put a lot of people to rest. But right now, the money's been approved. And if this system is as good as what people are saying, I say spend it now, because you'll never see it again.
Exactly.
Ms. Salsi?
This was what was given to us as our budget at the beginning of this year, last year. We are a fiscally responsible commission. We do not waste money, but we have continually heard that the system we have does not work properly. To go to what Amy said, as far as going back to not having Zoom meetings and everything else, that ship has sailed. So we have a deal on this, so we can put the stipulation in. I will amend my motion that this will be stipulated to what happens with the budget vote. It will not be spent until we have a budget in play. Then if the money is there, when this budget, whenever it gets voted in, if the money is still there, then we will use our money as the commission to buy this system. It is not only going to be better for us, it will be better for the people that sit in on Zoom. That, and I strongly feel that this is something that needs to be done in order to bring us forward into the areas that make it much better for the taxpayer.
Hey, Jane, I just gotta jump in too, because I heard what Amy said, and I didn't hear any actual facts. I
No.
just heard opinions.
Okay,
I
so
didn't hear
I've got
anything
actually Mr.
procedural.
Canoyer, I've got Mr. Santos
Oh.
recognized after Ms. Salsi, and then
Okay.
can speak.
I'm thinking that we're on a freeze.
No, we're not.
That's the way I'm taking it. If money does move to the general fund, there's nothing that says that we cannot go back and ask the Board of Finance after the vote is through for that $7,000. You can make a petition to the Board of Finance for any of that, and obviously we can prove that we had excess funding or unspent funding at that time. Quite honestly, I can't believe we're even talking about this right now. It's not on the agenda at all. Valerie made a comment about it, and I totally agree with Valerie. I'm just blowing that way. I feel like we're totally like sideswiped here with this conversation, quite honest with you. That's it. I say we move on to vote, Joe.
May I?
Mr. Knoyer.
I also just wanted to add that I did vote yes, and I do support the school, and I completely disagree that I'm one of those people that voted against it. I guess the point is that it's a procedural issue, and procedural issues that are voted on prior take precedent, and I don't think that we're setting a good precedent here if we just allow someone to tell us that we can't do something with money that we already had allocated. So I think it's the Board of Finance's decision, because they already appropriated it.
Ms. Salsi.
A motion was made and it was seconded, and I am restating my motion that we should purchase this system while the money is there, contingent on what happens with the budget. Obviously, if the budget doesn't go through this time and we're sitting for another 3 months, it's a moot point. But if the budget does go through this time, then this money is ours. It's our commission money. It was what was given to us last year. So I am asking that we take a vote on this. It was made and seconded.
Thank you. Mr. Knoyer, who had the second?
It's right.
It was right.
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 And so you, I just want to be clear, you
second
second as she has reiterated it. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, a yes will authorize spending, a no will deny. Mr. Lanky.
John B. Linky, yes.
Ryan Canori, yes.
Randy Blackmer, no. Ryan Santos, no.
Ray Williams, yes.
Jane Salsa, yes.
Russell Robin, yes. Yeah, I know, but I don't like the contingent too.
Well, it's
So, yes.
contingent if the budget
I
passes.
disagree with that. I'll say yes, but I disagree.
No peeking.
I'm saying no.
And I will abstain, I think, as
So
it
three
remain
no,
neutral.
and
So it was 6 votes in favor, 3 votes opposed. The
So,
motion passes.
motion passes. Thank you.
And were you able to get all those, Ryan?
I did. Yep, I have Randy, Brian, and Alvin as no. I have you as abstaining, and the rest are yes.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the budget report?
Mr. Chair, I
Mr.
will make a motion that we accept the Secretary Treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Lanky, seconded by Ms. Salsi to approve the budget report. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item 9B, planners report. Ms. Penn.
So, the discussion of HB 5002 is now moot. The governor, in fact, did
Yeah.
veto the bill today. We went in the space of 2 weeks from being, he's definitely gonna sign, to he might sign, to he might not sign. Today, he vetoed. So, it is possible they will go into a special session to revisit that and present an amended bill back, but who knows? So no concern there. The only reason I was going to bring it up at this point was because it was going to have an effect on your annual discussion for your revision. So you can assume that nothing that was involved in HB 5002 will be on the plate for your annual review. We did say that we would come back in July, starting the subcommittee meetings. I believe we have 2 topics that we know need to be discussed. One is the microcultivator moratorium and what to do about that at the end of the 1 year. And then a small amendment to the regulations surrounding gravel extraction that the CEO and the wetlands agent and I have discussed, a very small one. I know both chairs planning and zoning and wetlands were in on that conversation as well. If anybody has any other topics that they want to revisit, as I'm starting to put together a discussion memo for you, by all means, please send them to me via email so that if it's anything that needs research, I can look into it. I am out of the office this week. I just came in to run this meeting and I'll be in tomorrow to upload the recording to YouTube. But I'll be back on the 30th of June, so anything that you see, that you send to me, I'll see when I get back in the office. And that is it for now, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So today, in reference to Bill 5002, today I got an email from the Council of Small Towns. Who approved, the organization, the Sinnequag organization approved Governor Lamont's vetoing the bill. So the article is quite interesting. I printed it for you.
Thank you.
Because this will be coming up again.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ms. Dunn.
Yeah, thank you.
That was it, Ms. Penn?
It is indeed.
Thank you. Ms. Dunn, item C1, review of CCAPA seminar held on Friday, June 13th.
Okay.
Talked about 5,002 a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, so I gave you a write-up on 5002. I don't have it in front of me. Just been a, crazy day, but again, as Tara said, it's a mute point right now. But it was very, very interesting listening to the legislators that are on the committee, planning and zoning, planning and development in the state. It was very, very informative, and they, I asked them for information, they sent it to me. It was a wonderful seminar. To update you on 1097, the June 19th was the final date for clearing up 1097. Before I left Wednesday, I emailed our attorney and asked him, okay, they'll drive by Monday morning and see if they cleaned it up. Actually did not drive by because I kind of forgot about it, but I drove by Saturday or Friday, whatever day it was, Friday, and it was a mess. So I received a letter from an email from the attorneys at the attorneys that we use at Halliburton and Sage, and gave me 3 options. I'm going to go with the third option, which is the easiest, and they'll take it over for enforcement. So we will start the enforcement proceedings, not tomorrow, because I will not be in tomorrow, but we'll start the enforcement proceedings with the attorney Wednesday to have the place cleaned up.
Is that gonna have the every day a fine on it too at the same
It's
time?
$100 a day, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what my violation, my CC6 letter said, $100 a day.
Good.
Okay,
Thank you for that.
all right, and 1040 Quartertown Farm Road, we had a little bit of discussion about it last month. The veterinarian gave us some input, the public gave us, this is the 1040 Quartertown Farm Road that has the 30 piglets. Well, I refer to them as swine. They received their violation letter. I immediately got a copy from the property owner, who is the trustee of the parents' estate. She told me it was her brother that was doing it, and she will have that cleared up within the 30 days that I gave them. They, have the option of going to the ZBA within 30 days. They're not taking that option. Then it was her brother who is raising the piglets or the swine, and he called me today. And it was a quick conversation because he was going in at 3 o'clock today to get cataract operation. And he said that he has gotten rid of 15 of them. He doesn't understand why he has to get rid of them. And we went through that a little bit, which my letter explained a lot because of non-conforming and, which Rob gave us. And you've got to follow that pretty well, carefully. So yes, she feels by the end, and then she called me back today. Deborah called me back and she said it's going to get done by the 30th. I said the only other concern is the disposal of the manure. And that is going to be up to the ag department because the ag department, the enforcement in the ag department got the original letter of working with the animal control officer, the ag department. So it should be cleared up in 30 days. Yeah, but by the end of, this, well, their 30-day, the letter went out over, I don't exactly remember what date, but, so it should get cleaned up for them.
Ms. Salsi.
Oh, no,
Oh,
go ahead. No,
yeah.
go ahead. No, I want to finish here. I want to hear what you have to say.
Is that still on 1040?
Finish on 1040.
Oh, okay, all right. I've been past this farm. And hopefully I don't lose my voice before I finish talking, which might make some of you happy. Anyway, this farm has been there since what, 1960, Cindy?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
get the folder and tell you, but.
Okay, so it's been there for about 60 years, correct? So that gets grandfathered in, correct?
It gets grandfathered in, except they've only had 6 piglets. And even the previous regulations and the current regulations are much more strict on swine than they are on livestock. Because the brother did mention to me, well, we've had horses, I said, yes, but the regulations for swine are a lot stricter than regulations for horses, et cetera.
Okay, so my question is that back in the 60s, have they had swine on this property since 1966 or 67 or whatever it is?
I could not answer that, and I did not ask Deborah that, but what I do know, and I know from neighbors there, because people know, we all know people, and everybody has said, the maximum amount of swine they've had on that property is 6.
So that's all.
So they can have 6.
So that's all they've ever seen is the 6 there. And of course, that does not include piglets because you can have as many piglets. They are not considered swine, they're piglets.
I probably disagree with that, I think, but I'd have to look into that further. They're still swine.
There's,
They
yeah,
still-
but I think if I remember correctly, when we were doing other animals, with the babies, let's call them babies, were not included in the head count.
Jane is
If
correct.
they
in that.
grow up,
I am correct on that,
Yeah,
correct?
if they
Yeah.
grow up.
That, well, if they're gonna sell them.
Is there anything else?
No, I hear you.
Just let Jane
My que-
continue, Jane.
My question is that if this has been grandfathered in, why are we doing this now?
Because of the disruption to the neighborhood. The manure smell to the neighborhood.
Well, like,
And they've only been allowed
Well,
6.
and if I
I'm
may,
gonna stay with that.
the use to this point has not been demonstrated to the zoning enforcement officer that there was a non-conforming use to that extent before the establishment of the regulations.
can repeat that again, please?
So the ZEO has seen no documentation or evidence that there was a non-conforming use of this extent
Okay,
predating the adoption of the regulations. So therefore, the non-conforming use cannot exceed, it cannot become any more non-conforming than
then
it
what
already
was
was.
there? Then what was there? Okay.
Good point.
They are. It sounds to me as, having talked with them, that they're not having a problem with doing this, with
No, they're
getting
not
rid of
having
it.
any problem.
They're not having any problem with it.
No.
Okay, okay.
Mr. Williams.
Oh, first of all, they've been a farm there since 1965. The aerial view shows that corral there. The neighbors weren't there in 1965, so they're gonna move on the side of a farm and then complain about the smell. That's wrong. It says right on our sign, actually, I got a copy of it coming off of 395, it's supposed to be a farm-friendly community. And this is not farm-friendly whatsoever. In our regulations, it's piglets, and actually our regulations, just because you put in a new regulation, that don't mean he has to abide by it. He's non-conforming. Them pigs have been there. One minute. What? No, sir. Let me tell you something. I butchered pigs for that guy for 20 years. There used to be 15 of them down there. I'd kill a pig there on a Friday night, go butcher it and go cook for his family reunion on a Saturday morning. I did it for years and years and years. So what you guys are saying is wrong.
Okay, so can I say?
And you're
something to that?
picking on the wrong people. I'm not even gonna bring the rest of that up.
Can I say
Ms.
something
Dunn,
to that?
Ms. Dunn.
I have been here for 7.5 years, and this is the first time, yes, it was a farm. It has been a farm. This is the first time that I've received so many complaints about an odor on that road. Well, this is the second time. We had it down the street, 522. But for that particular property, this is the first time in 7.5 years that anyone has ever complained about any odor. And there was 30 little guys.
In our regulations, he can have 30 piglets.
Mr. Krogel.
Right, I drive by that with the school bus. I have never smelled anything down there. I agree with Ray that when new neighbors come in and they complain, they should know what they're moving into in the first place. That being said, I commented that there seems to be a lot of pigs there. I'll call them pigs. You can call them swine. The fact is, it is a farm. It's been a farm for a long time. And that's swine not regulated as domestic pets if we want them to be. We had this discussion about somebody wanted to have pigs in their house and we okayed that. What's the difference having it on a farm? That's been around before zoning. Zoning came in 1975, right? So are these owners going to be
72, I think.
able to bring their number down to 6?
Just the man that
Although there's no
helped
confirmation,
start it.
no maybe whether there's ever been.
She admitted, no, she admitted to me that there was. That
So
there
would
was
they be
more
able
than
to keep
ever been.
6?
Yes, she told me that there's a lot, she had been asking him to get rid of it even before the letter came in.
That sounds like a family matter.
Well,
Ms.
the
Salty.
other part of this is, if that's the case, if you're saying that, well, then we need to, our regulations require a manure plan according to the Department of Ag regulations, so then we have to require that.
It's a fact.
Ms. Salty.
Okay, I agree with that. Manure regulation, absolutely. I would like to know, without naming names, how many people complained about, because I've been there, I've taken people up there. I'd like to know how many people complained. Is it the ones that moved into the new building, the new house, and they didn't realize they were moving next to a pig farm?
I have no idea when the person who complained, I have no idea when that person moved in. I could check that if you want me to check that. But what I will tell you that I've had people stop by my office. I've had people talk to me away from the office and saying, what are you gonna do about that manure smell, pigs on route, on Watertown Pond Road? And I have driven by there and it smells horrible.
Yeah, I've been there when it smelled, but it's, I mean, it's.
Okay,
But anyway, but the other.
Well, it smells horrible for a residential neighborhood. But yes, you're right.
Okay.
Well, that's,
Yeah,
it is not what I would really call a
Well,
residential
that's
area.
what you classify it.
I
as.
know,
Lake
we
District.
made.
Okay, so
No, Lake District 2020. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
before
before
that.
that,
Sorry.
before
Ms.
we
Salty, did you have
started.
some
Yes,
final?
I did have a question.
Okay, quickly, please.
Now. It's gone, I'm sorry, it's gone, now I know what I was gonna say. All right, so the manure disposal, you said that should go through the Ag Commission, correct?
Well, it has to come to us as to how they're doing it, but they have to follow the agricultural regulations. Yeah.
Okay, so I would be interested to see what the results are of that and how they're gonna conform to that, because I do agree that maybe the manure needs to be handled correctly. I just don't wanna get into the fact again, where we start regulating how many animals you can have on the farmland.
Ms. Penn,
Can't have any more than what they had before because it's a non-conforming use.
Ms. Penn.
So I believe that there is a way to satisfy all of these needs that is actually in conformity with the regulations as they are currently written. So the numbers that people are referring to are the number that we defined as an as of right level of livestock of various kinds, meaning as long as you're under this threshold, you never have to come talk to us at all, right? And whatever they happen to be, I'm not looking at them, I don't know what they are. At no point does that actually prevent a property owner from coming to the zoning enforcement officer if they want to exceed the as of right number and pull a permit to have a livestock agricultural use of the property, and that would bring in the manure plan to be approved by the Department of Agriculture. It was intentionally written to make it easy for homestead agriculture, but for people who were pursuing it at a more intensive level, they had an option to conform with practices by applying for a permit. So to me, that seems like the obvious solution here. Although it does seem like Cindy is in contact with the property owner and they're having no issue removing the animals. So possibly we are discussing.
That might be
Okay.
a point if they're not having a
Right.
problem.
Right.
Mr. Warner has to stand up.
He's not,
It's not
we're not him.
citizens' comments.
Mr. Williams.
Well, it goes back again, this was long before the ag committee had their manure regulations, it was before our regulations. And that farm was there long before this, and so he shouldn't have to conform to any of them regulations.
Thank you. Mr. Krogel.
That was.
Yeah, you weren't ready for me.
Excuse me. So if these owners have no problem reducing the amount of swine, they can do that anytime they so desire without being told to do so. And apparently, only one of them wants to do it. The sister wants him to downsize. He was quite content with the number of pigs that he had. I mean, that's, again, like I said, that's a family issue. That's not anything to do with zoning. And
Mr. Hill and then Mr. Williams. Then Mrs.
My question is going to be directed to a practicing farmer.
I can't hear you.
On this
Al.
committee.
Can you just speak up, Alvin?
My question is going to be directed to one of our commission members who is a practicing farmer. And that'd be Mr. Blackman. Could, in your experience, might not be with swine, but could one apply something over the manure? I mean, my own case, if something like that, I use something that would lower the pH.
Line.
Mr.
Well-
Mr. Blackman.
Possibly spread some limestone on it would,
Spread what?
a heavy coat of lime on it.
Yeah, I was thinking lime.
The correct way is the Department of Ag, not the Ag Commission, that would handle this. The Ag Commission doesn't get it. I mean,
What did you say? I didn't hear.
the Department of Agriculture is the one that would have the manure regulations that they have to
Right.
not the Mountain Ag Commission.
Yeah, the Department of Ag.
Yeah, no, there was some
Oh, I'm just.
discrepancy in the language, Cindy, that we just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
The other.
Just one second, Randy.
The next thing is, I went by there quite recently. Looks to me like the bigger pigs are about ready to market. I bet you they'll all be gone
Yeah.
before the 30 days are up. And if it's piglets, that's a different story. I don't know how.
They're gone. You got rid of 15 piglets already.
Well, then there should be, I think this is gonna become a moot point by next meeting, and
I agree.
I think that we just about blown our chance of finishing this meeting as quick as we did last meeting.
Mr.
Just for a point of information on your right to farm. The maximum swine you can have is 6. No matter what size of property it is. That's in your right to farm.
Mr.
Right.
Williams.
Well, I was driving by and Mr. Hazel was outside and I stopped and talked to him a couple of days ago. And he does know that he's got more pigs because his sows kept getting bred and he is getting rid of them, but he still, you know, as long as that farm's been there, he shouldn't have to. But, and to get back to what Alvin said, I used to raise pigs myself. And what I did when it got like that is I had a friend of mine who worked for Linden Tree and he would dump wood chips off and it would dry the smell, they'd dry it up and get rid of most of the smell.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
One more thing to add,
Mr. Blackman.
as far as you're talking about manure regulations. I think the biggest problem, I didn't walk in there to check, but I think that the problem is that the hogs have rooted that up and so that it's mud. There's no question, there's manure smell there, but you could truck that topsoil off and make good money with it.
Okay.
I'll help that.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Miss Dunn, I think you had something further
Yes,
after 10:40.
I have another issue that I'm adding on to the to my report. which you have no information on it, and actually I'm going off the top of my head, even though there's a cease and desist letter right here. So, our holiday, I get a call from the fire marshal, and of course, I don't care what day it is, I'm gonna answer a phone from the fire marshal. East Putnam Fire Department called the fire marshal and asked him if he knew that there was a, concert going on at 32 Emils Drive in Thompson. And he called me and asked me if they had a, permit to do concerts, because they were selling tickets for the concert. It was so the research I did that day, I wrote the letter that day after my research. And then I came in Friday and, at 1 o'clock Friday, I called the property owner Friday morning. 10 minutes later, he called me back. And, I said, we'd like to come out and see your property. We went to Amy and I went out there at 1 o'clock, and it's actually a little piece of heaven out there. You go to Emil Drive and you turn into 32, and it's a long road, nice parking lot, dirt paved parking lot on the left side. You go straight down. There's a barn there that does show up on his Facebook page. Not only is he having concerts there, but he also has a wedding venue, and he's had it for quite a few years. You go on his Facebook page, you can read all about it. Obviously, because I've been here for 6.5 years, they've been there since I think 2016. I think they started this in 2020, I mean. It's not disruptive to the neighborhood, because I have never received a complaint about that place. So what I agreed, he's coming in Wednesday. I told him what regulation he has to follow to, get a zoning permit to conduct his wedding venue and to conduct his concerts. Now, the reason why he charges for the concerts is because he, has to pay, the liquor company, which is Bare Hands Brewing Company, that supplies the liquor, the bartenders, etc. He has to pay them, so that's how, excuse me, not them, has to pay the band. So that's why he charges tickets, because he has to pay the band. So I don't make any money off it. It says, but you're making money off your weddings. So long and short of it, he is coming in Wednesday. I'd asked him to give me a list of what events he has planned. I said, if you could get it to me by Monday night, I'd appreciate it. I guess my question of you is, do I tell him to stop what he's doing until he gets a special permit, or is his intentions good in applying for a special permit, and can he continue doing what he's doing? Until he has his permit.
Did you get the events that he has planned?
No, he didn't bring it in.
She's before me next week.
I was gonna say, how many weddings does he have between?
Page. Go on the there's brewing page, and go on his face. I could not find a Facebook page for the Drunken Saloon. That's what the saloon is called. I couldn't find that Facebook page, but I did find a Facebook page for the Towering, I forget what the name of his weddings are, but it's right here.
Mr. Williams.
Towering Pines Farm. That's what the name of this.
In the state regulation that nobody complained about it for 3 years. I thought it was,
No, there's a lot of loopholes in that. If you want me to send that to Rich Roberts, I certainly will. The answer's gonna come back. No, they are violating the zoning regulations, bottom line.
Mr. Blackmer.
Just out of curiosity, not that it really affects us, but where's Emil Drive?
It's
the
right,
Port Plain.
Port Plain.
Okay.
You go down Port Plain, Emil Drive is a U,
Okay.
and it's right off one of the, there's a, driveway, and it goes, it's a dirt road, it goes
Isn't that
all the way in the back. You would never know that anything.
That's before Port Plain Road on the right, though.
No, it's
It's on the left?
You go up Port Plain and it's on the right.
That's what I just said, it's on the right.
But it's on Porter Plain.
Oh, it's on Port Plain, okay.
The guy's been doing this for years down there, and the reason why nobody complains is because he invites all the people.
Exactly. That's exactly, yes, I
Did he-
did not want to elaborate, I know all about it.
Did he,
We
Mr.
spent a
Chair,
good 45 minutes with him.
And
Regardless, Sadie, it sounds like he's working to come into
He
compliance.
is still, yes.
Mr. Lanky.
did he, just make sure that he's got NDDH
Absolutely,
Okay,
everything's in the.
because-
Right here, you wanna read the letter? It's right here.
So
He should invite us.
Cindy,
Yes.
you sent a cease and
I
desist?
actually, I handed it to him and he signed it. So that's, that will hold up the signature on the cease and desist.
So this is a special permit application.
Special permit application.
So we're looking at the August meeting
You're looking at the July
July
meeting
meeting.
to accept it and the August meeting.
to hold the public hearing.
To hold, unless there's wetlands and the wetlands gets involved in it, so that is gonna hold it up another month. Because we
And it's
cannot act
already-
on special permit until wetlands approves it. But what did I give it to? Okay, so you may apply to the Planning and Zoning Commission requesting your commercial wedding event venue and concerts in the RRAD under Table of Permitted Uses, number 19, which says any other permitted uses reasonably related to the intended purpose of this district as determined by the commission, which requires a special permit. Exactly what you had the wedding venue on West Thompson Road do.
And he does have any venues booked in the meantime.
He does, yes, he didn't deny.
Oh, that's gonna complicate now.
Mr. Williams,
I think we ought to let him go and then pursue his venues that he has booked until, he's gonna come in and pursue the right avenue, so,
Yeah, so we're not restricting him.
the guy's got taxes to pay too.
I want to vote on it, or? you wanna-
yes, I would suggest a motion be made directing Cindy as to the course of action she should take.
That's what Ray was doing.
I make the motion what
So
Joe just said.
Mr. Williams makes a motion to authorize the zoning enforcement officer to allow this use to continue while the property owner continues or initiates and carries through the application process.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Blackmer. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none, a yes vote will allow the use to continue. A no vote will enforce the cease and desist. Mr. Lenke.
Oh, I get to go first again. I love it.
Sit on the end if you don't like.
I know, I've been you in the hot seat, haven't I, Joe?
That's okay. And first time I've been in the hot seat. And then, John B. Linky, yes.
Ryan Canori, yes.
Randy Blackmer, yes. Mike Santos, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
Jane Salsa, yes.
Russell Robin, yes.
Mike Krugel, yes.
Alvin Hill, yes.
At the risk of putting myself between some angry brides, I'm gonna vote
Yeah.
no. Regulations are regulations, and so that is 9 yes votes and 1 no vote.
Received.
So the motion to authorize you to allow them to continue while they are applying passes. Anything else from the ZEO?
None of the report, but I haven't shut up yet.
These staff reports have been barn blazers tonight.
That's definitely benefiting from my time on vacation.
Yeah. Item 10, we have 3 items of correspondence, a memo from the chairman of the Thompson Conservation Commission, the Town of Dudley Planning Board notice of public hearing.
Can we discuss the?
Yeah, I was just gonna list them all, and then the Town of Webster notice of public hearing. I think we also received if I recall correctly, a notice of decision from the Town of Webster in our correspondence as well. But Cindy, I think you wanted to comment on the first one?
Yes, I do, and I'll just read from my, memo there. The memo from the chairman of the Thompson Conservation Commission attached to the memo of the Conservation Chairman in my email response. As you know, I have a 16-page report, which you guys received a copy of, that I would like to forward to the chairman. The report states all the action has been taken on this property by the zoning department. If you give me a minute, I know the meeting is long, but if I could, does anybody have that report handy? Oh, can I see, is that the report? Can I see my email after it? So my last paragraph in my email, I'm trying to make it as diplomatic as possible. I will read it to you. It says, please note, earth removal is under the jurisdiction of the planning and zoning office and relegated to me with direction, review and preparation to the PZC approval. If you have questions on the earth removal process or any other zoning use application in the town of Thompson, please be respectful of our respective positions and consult my office and review the record on the property in question before any public comments are made on the planning and zoning property activity. So I guess I answered it, as diplomatically as I could, but what I will say is, once again, I just feel that there is an interference from another commission. And there was misinformation, because all the correct information is right here. I am going, I want your permission to be able to give this to her, show her what we have been doing, but I also feel they jumped the gun and is, I guess I'll just come out and say it, is unnecessarily critical of my actions.
I move to authorize the CEO to forward that report to the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Randy abstained due to absence.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm finished. I just have something Kara brings up her,
Okay, item,
old business.
Mr. Salsi, Ms. Salsi, I'm sorry.
Mr. Salt.
I apologize.
Oh, I'm going to leave. I am progressively getting worse.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And
Be well, stay well.
Feel better, dude.
thank you. Of course, I could sit here with no voice and you'd all be happy, so. Yeah. No, I don't. I'm getting worse. So I am leaving.
Thank you, Jane.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Ms. Orr,
It's still in
yeah,
there.
Ms. Orr, we will seat you for Ms. Salsi at 8:06 PM.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ready for duty. Thank you, Jane. Be well, please.
Thank you.
Item 11, signing of Mylars, there are none. Item of 12, old business, continuing discussion of sale of town property, Woodland Ave. 12A, 1, discussion and possible action on 824 referral for Woodland Ave, lots 5 and 6.
I have a report here from the Conservation Commission that they sent to me, so I'd like to give everybody a copy of the report.
Oh, can I have a copy?
Yeah, I gave it to.
Oh, thank you. I didn't read it, so.
And this is from the site.
From the conservation.
Yeah.
Detailed report.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Blackmer.
I think Ms. Phelps should be made to stay. She's the one that dragged this meeting out.
I need a sergeant at arms to keep people here.
Yeah.
I know a guy that's pretty good at it.
I'd go for us.
Huh?
I'd go for us.
Yeah.
Actually, Mr. Chair, if I may,
Mr.
I think the discussion of possible action on 824 referral for Woodland Ave, lots 5 and 6, that is considered a separate issue. And then we can.
Well, that's why each of them is lying.
Correct,
differently.
but that's the one we should be thinking about do we send a letter to the Board of Selectmen? to
Yeah.
Do their agenda,
Mhm.
and then go from there.
Right, yeah, this was the original property that sparked the larger conversation and.
Correct.
From my sense of the meeting, I wasn't there on Monday, but it seems like there seems to be some consensus on how to move on that, so. Mr. Williams, I don't want to speak before.
Well, I just want to say, when we went for that walk, I misspoke and I said something about the 10 waterways. It's the 10 wetlands. I went back and I reread both of their things, all the everything that, the regulations on them guys, and then I misspoke that day and I said waterways instead of wetlands. I just wanted to clear that up.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Williams.
actually think it's correct in the minutes, right?
But that-
Yeah, it is.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not correct the way I said it that day, and I know I said it wrong, and I like to, if I'm wrong, I like to say I'm
Someone
wrong.
polished it up for you, I
That's
guess. Um. But so I don't, if there's someone who's ready to make a motion on the 824 referral for the Woodland Ave lots 5 and 6.
I'll make that motion. My motion would be that, you know, that we put 5 and 6 out for bid with concessions that what Mr. Santos brought in, and I think some of that should be used into the language of it. In this way, it's a done deal, and then after that stays in conservation.
May I ask you a question about that, John?
Yes,
Are you making that recommendation consciously knowing that that is not the consensus that you and your fellows came to at that meeting?
we went on 5 and 6.
I mean, if you're doing it intentionally, that's fine, but if you're referring back to the meeting, that is not the consensus. you guys
Because the original plan by the Board of Selectmen, what Kenny said was 5 and 6 was a separate issue, and the rest of the stuff, that's the understanding, if I remember correctly.
Well, you are correct that lots 5 and 6 are a separate issue. What I'm saying is the motion that you just made to send a recommendation to put out to bid for sale is not the consensus that you and your fellows came to. At the
Not all the
subcommittee meeting.
properties, I was just narrowing it to 5 and 6. Did I say that wrong?
No, you didn't say it wrong.
No, but I think what Tier and you know, point of order, there is a motion on the table, but just to be blunter about what Tier is saying, from reading the minutes and from watching the video, it seemed to me that people left that meeting with the consensus that the response to
referral
the
would be
Board of
denied.
Selectmen would be not to sell those properties.
I had 3 in my notes here.
You're on a different topic.
No,
Yeah,
same,
you are
same
too.
topic,
Yeah, you are.
No, we're talking about lots 5 and 6.
5 and 6.
5 and 6 is
Yeah.
one topic, and then the 6 other lots are a separate
Those are a
topic.
separate topic. Yep.
Correct.
1, 2, okay.
That's the one, the 6 other lots, I wasn't gonna get to it until it came up, because that's what Dave.
Okay, so Mr. Linky, does your motion stand?
For 5 and 6?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Lanky has moved to respond to the Board of Selectmen 824 referral to put lots 5 and 6 of Woodland Ave out for bid with a deed restriction regarding conservation. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll say it.
Motion is seconded by Mr. Hill. Discussion on the motion. Mr. Santos.
Do we need to establish the deed restriction before it goes out to bid, so there's an understanding of deed limitations?
I'm not a real estate attorney, but I would imagine yes.
Why I'm bringing it up, because I gave 2 deed restrictions, I recommend that we go with the longer one.
Well, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, so he was which version?
Yeah,
Okay, I
Miss-
just wanted to clarify.
Mr. Williams.
I didn't get either one of the deed restrictions because I wasn't at that meeting, but the problem that I have with this here is that even if we put a deed restriction on them 2 lots, that they could put a house on the other 3 lots and it still equals 50.
Yeah, so we just need to think about these 2 lots separately. We can take another action with every other lot.
Oh, no, I'm talking about, because he owns 3 other lots and these lots give him the 15.
Right, okay,
Then
sorry, I
give him the
understand.
15,000, so if he
understand.
puts a house on the 3 other lots, because he's got the 15,000.
Right, understand.
And I've heard through people that, you know, he's looking to put an Airbnb down there and, you know, that's stuff that, you know.
Yeah, so if I could, yeah, focus, so I would say that, you know, the building is relevant. The use of it potentially is,
You know,
Probably not
he
irrelevant.
he might get.
yeah, so I would say
On them 2 acres. he
stick
might
to the
not be
point
able
that
to
it could
build.
become a buildable lot off of that,
Correct.
but don't worry about the uses of that building. if that makes sense. That's not as relevant to this conversation as the building itself. Mr. Santos and then Mr. Crowe.
Would come into play, we would write all that down.
But the deed restriction would be only on them 2 lots, not on the other
Not
3
on the
that he
rest of
already
his
owns.
property.
So he could actually put the house on the 3 and
we
it would
could
still
write
have
in
the
there that
15.
these properties don't account for an inclusion of the other 2 properties. We can write whatever we want in that to limit that exposure.
So Brian's suggesting a deed restriction that says the addition of these 2 lots
Will
Does
not
not
allow you to
create a
create a
buildable lot.
buildable lot. You could write that.
I like what he just said. That's what I was looking at. Thank you.
Mr. Krogel.
Ray is talking about 15,000 square feet of buildable lot with municipal regulations. A building lot is 1 acre in the town of Thompson. Yes, it is.
Not in the Lake
Not in
District.
that-
15,000 square feet.
No, not district?
No, it's 15,000 square feet, and this gives him the 15,000 square feet. And we also have reports from the state of Connecticut Conservation where they asked, in their report, it says to restrict building around Schoolhouse Pond, Little Pond. But because of the septics that going into the water.
Well, that would still be up to the NDDH.
Correct.
Mhm.
I had a question, but I forgot what it
Sorry.
That's all right.
I know.
I just read on you. Mr. Black.
That's all right.
Third parcel somewhere that Amy had told us about is. Do we need to be taking that into consideration?
That's another issue.
It's
It's a separate bullet point.
yeah.
That's a separate issue.
Okay.
Ah,
So the motion has been made to respond to the referral with a approval to go out for bid with a deed restriction. To Mr. Santos' point, I think we should be explicit about what the deed restriction says before moving to a vote.
vote,
Mr.
correct.
Blackburn.
I remember what I was wondering.
Do you remember who was second?
If, so this has to go out to bid, but if anybody else buys it, that those two lots are not usable to anybody else anyway.
Correct.
But anybody has a right to bid on it. Once it goes out, it's public bid. So,
Yeah. But then arguably in the future, they could buy from Mr. Jezierski.
Well, that's true, okay. I'm thinking it was just gonna limit people who could bid on it, but,
Yeah,
actually, you
do that.
can't.
It's an open public process.
well, why are you gonna buy 2 lots if you can't do it?
you never know what
Right,
some people will do.
Mr. Santos.
Just, being cautious of, like, if we're trying to come up with those restrictions tonight, that's gonna be a challenge. I move we put that out to get it.
It doesn't have.
I don't think that you need to decide the exact language of the deed restriction
That's why I'm
tonight,
asking, like, if that's the case.
because it has to be
Fine.
approved by the
Attorney,
attorney
fine.
anyway, and we're
Yeah.
not gonna send it to the attorney unless you actually vote to make the referral.
Fine.
So,
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Good
thank you.
clarity on that.
Any further discussion then? A yes vote will refer to the Board of Selectmen or respond to the referral with approval to put out for Alvin,
Thank you.
to put out to bid.
I think we need to do restrictions beforehand.
With, I'm sorry, with, the motion is with a deed restriction for conservation.
Correct.
Should you put the word deed restriction for development in it? I mean, what is a deed restriction?
Deed restriction preventing building.
Well, I feel like it should just be, you meant the word development, meaning that it's not developed yet,
Right.
indeed restriction.
Right.
I think that's appropriate. We need to finalize that, but we should be able to prove it. That yes, we're making this referral and then we'll develop that deed restriction.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think you can approve the
Yeah.
intent,
The intent.
and then the specific language would have to be approved by
By
council
council.
anyway, so.
Yeah, it's gotta go,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Williams, I see your hand.
I was gonna say, since we have. Deed restrictions in this, I think we should put this off again. The guy's not in a hurry to buy it, and I think we should, I believe what I agree with Mr. Krugel, and we should, work all that out before we even vote on this.
Well,
With the restrictions to be developed by the planning and zoning board? At the next meeting?
I think the detail, I mean, the intention of we have language from Brian. We've talked about including, not, if it is joined to other properties, it does not become a buildable lot. We can send that to the attorney and, we'll have approval of that before it.
I think things could be done in parallel. It's up to you guys. If you're
Right, but-
uncomfortable, you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna send anything to the attorney if it's not gonna be a referral, because that's billable hours, so I'm only gonna send it if you guys decide you want to make the referral to put out to bid.
Yeah, with the complete wording and verbiage, so when they check
That
and it
makes
comes back to us, it goes.
I'm gonna call the vote. A yes vote sends a positive positive response to the Board of Selectmen. A no vote sends a negative response for purchase.
So the yes vote is to recommend the selectmen put the two pieces of property out for bid.
Correct.
Correct.
An authorization to sell.
I'm sorry, authorization, what?
To sell.
To sell,
To bid, can't sell.
sale
Well,
of
it's-
property.
It's bid.
It's sold after someone bids for it.
Well, yeah, but it's.
To transfer the property.
The word's gotta
To
be.
transfer
I
the
bid.
believe
property.
The technical term is disposal.
Dispose of the property.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah.
I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm just saying, I'm not.
Not, yeah, no, time for.
Disposal.
Big deal, man.
Disposal of property.
Mr.
I
Hill.
think I put that in the memo.
Yes.
Maybe, no, I didn't.
Mr. Kroger,
No,
Mr. Robin,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
No.
Mr. Santos.
Yes.
Mr. Blackburn.
Yes.
Mr. Knoyer,
No.
Mr. Delaney,
Yes.
Ms. Orr,
Guys, or Levack, yes.
Joseph Brody Brown. I'm a no.
It doesn't affect the.
It doesn't matter, no, I'm a no.
So vote your conscience.
So the motion is passed and the recommendation will be made to the Board of Selectmen to dispose of the property with the deed restriction. Ms. Penn, please consult with the attorney regarding that language.
Yeah, I'll resend out if I can, Joe.
Absolutely.
I'll
sure
resend
they'll
out
have
the
it.
long one, and I'll make sure Ray gets a copy, because I think I put it on the email, but I'll send it to you. Okay. Well, I'll send it to you. You can send it.
yeah, because I'd like it, but I'm not sure if it's, I don't see my emails there, it must be.
Okay. We'll get you a copy.
I
Thank
don't,
you.
Can I just interrupt here for a minute? I know that, number 2 is, going to be a lengthy discussion, and there's 2 gentlemen that are sitting here waiting, A and B under new business. I don't know if you can amend to just get those 2 over with right now, because I think your discussion is going to be quite lengthy.
Actually, two, I was gonna make a motion that we put it off for another day,
Oh,
another,
we just got number 2.
because it's gonna be lengthy. So that was what I was gonna do, was to make a motion to
So
discuss the future
12A2
lots eligible for sale or whatever.
well, yeah, so just, I mean, 12-3, I think we can move pretty quickly on. So Mr. Lenke moves to table item 12A2 to next month.
What about 12A3?
I think we can move pretty quickly with 12-3.
We could do both of them at the same time.
I think, in my opinion, I think there was conversation at the meeting on Monday
Yeah.
that
Okay,
we want to look at a policy statement, and I think honestly, the action for 12A3 is just asking Tara to write a policy statement for us to view for next month.
Alright.
Right, so, Mr. Lakey has moved to table 12A2 to next month. Is there a second? Mr. Santos seconds. All those is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. And opposed? Okay, item 12A3, discussion of drafting a policy statement for town on lots surrounding Little Pond. I move to authorize the planner to give us language for that policy statement for next month's meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Santos beat you to it.
Okay, that's fine.
Any discussion on the motion?
Not too often. He's gonna not get a slam.
Hearing none, yes vote will authorize the planner to write in some
Before
language.
you call the vote, Joe, just to be clear, so I am, in drafting that policy statement, I am going to refer to the minutes from the last subcommittee meeting to discuss this and base it off that consensus, but you guys will have a chance to review and edit, change, correct, comment on it.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, I think that's the, yeah, the basis for the statement, so thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the planner is so authorized. Item 13A, sale of town property, 0 Limehouse Road. Is done.
Are you here for Zero Line House Road?
Nope.
Oh, okay, well, we have, I'm sorry. We
Say
have,
yes.
We have a request from, the town, you know, for the, everybody read what I put in your, okay, so I get to vote on it. Or discuss it or whatever,
Yeah.
you know,
I'll
we have a
make-
map and everything, and should do map. Their minutes, minutes of approving it. Property cards in here.
Can you, can you give me a quick rundown, please?
Quick
I didn't-
breakdown of what?
Well, I was gonna, what I kind of read
Right
on
here.
my,
Mr.
I'm thinking of
Mr.
the,
Cortez owns this property, the town of Thompson owns this property, and he wants to buy, he's interested in buying it, of course, they have to go out to bid for it. So they want your approval to go out to bid for it.
It's a separate H24.
Same thing you just got finished doing, what you call it?
and the gentleman isn't here tonight.
No, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
No,
Right, this is, yeah, it's a separate H24 referral.
yeah,
Mr. Blackmer.
Cindy, is this the diagonal double line through the crosses, which Winehouse Road, is that the old railroad track?
oh, I don't know that, because I'm not.
That's what I was just looking at. That's what I was just looking at, trying to figure out what,
And the house on the
oh,
left side of the sketch, there's one that's back to Jezerski that lived there. And I know.
see where it says 6, that's 5C here and then 6 here.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you look just above it, maybe within a quarter of an inch, that looks like a railroad track. You know, how they label a railroad track with a line and then like it's got the rail ties in it.
Carlos's property would be down on the very bottom of this page then.
Whose property?
On the left,
Carlos,
Oh, yeah, probably, yeah. I mean, if you want me to do further research on it, I can certainly do that for you, I have no problem with that.
I think that would be better before we make a final decision on it. I personally think,
No problem.
because if the gentleman was very, very interested in trying to so-called buy the property, but it's gotta go off the bid anyway, but it's just that think he would be here to give us, so we each have a better idea of what the intent is and everything.
All right.
Mr. Williams.
I just want to say, Mr. Cordes works 2 jobs. And I'm not sure if he's working tonight or
Hmm.
not, but I know he works 2 jobs to keep
pay the taxes.
to keep this property, because this property was deeded to his family from King George years and years ago. And he owns, what's he got over there? It's
Oh, he's got like
1,300 acres or
200
something?
acres, so.
Altogether,
72.
what's that?
It's over 1,000, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah.
He is the
Oh,
single
yeah.
largest landowner in Thompson, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if not the first largest.
He is the largest.
Right, yeah, I thought so.
Okay,
Thank you.
and I will send him a letter.
Ethan returns you with a letter, you know, it's just to show that there is communication.
Can we do that?
Item 12B, request to build on Ridgewood Ave, Town Ordinance. I'm sorry, thank you, Mr. Hill. 13B, we're not going back in time. Item 13B, request to build on Ridgewood Ave, Town Ordinance 132 dash.
Once again, it's just, what you've done in the past, well, I think I put in the new list from the highway department.
Yeah.
I know on my old list from 1994, it said that they will clear the snow off that road when they finish everything else, but it's not on the new list to do that. So the town will be doing nothing for that road.
The property owner is aware of that.
Mr. Racine right there, yes.
Yes.
Well, this is to approve the building of a house on a
Yeah.
public road.
So this is the list that they highway department just gave me. Well,
Pretty much all of those roads that are not on the list. The town doesn't go down there until they get all their work done. Lucky if they do get down there.
Subdivision. So it's or. Either A or B.
There's other houses.
Oh, there's
I don't know. Is this the other parcel that Amy talked about when we talked about the two?
No,
No.
One.
it
No,
was the one when we went up, when we parked and we went up over the hill,
Mhm.
and on the left-hand side, it was all graded off.
I remember I said to him, this
Got
is a
the-
nice
it
piece
had
of
the
property up
excavator.
here.
He had the excavator up there.
Oh, all right.
and Kevin was with us that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we walked all the way down and we walked all the way back on the roundabout. And then we came out to where parcel 5 and 6 were. That's where we ended up. In Hot Rod over there, you had to turn around and go back the other way.
So thank you. You know, Mr. Hill, our ordinance and law master has, reminded us that what we should consider is the impact of such structure on the neighborhood and town with regard to traffic, residential density, access to sewers or suitability for on-site septic system, size of the lot to be built upon, and suitability of the proposed structure to the neighborhood. Mr. Santos.
Worried about emergency risk, fire trucks getting down there to help move things like if there was an emergency. That's the only thing.
I thought it was pretty accessible when we were walking, widthwise up to there and down. Over the knoll, I call it, up and down.
You don't have to go over the knoll and just get to the top, right?
Yeah,
Just get to the top.
Yeah, just.
Let's get to the top.
we could have driven that part.
Yeah, we could have driven it. Yeah, you're right.
It's a good point though, Mr. Santos.
I did drive it.
I'm not, the man owns the property, I'm not gonna stop him, but I'm at least gonna mention it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, clearing it is just the start. He has to apply to the building office, he has to
Sure.
apply for a zoning permit, fire marshal's gonna see it and.
And the NDDH and et cetera, et cetera.
So we're not making a motion on this then, this is just, yeah, okay, it sounds.
Well, we would
No,
have to,
no.
we need a vote to, for the Planning and Zoning Commission to issue written permission for a building permit to be issued.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion made by,
To the board, the selectmen.
to the selectmen?
Thank-
I think well,
Motion is to make
I think
building permit.
the building official just needs
Okay,
written
I-
permission from us.
That's the other part, the sale of properties to the
So
board.
Mr. Santos moves, Mr. Blackmer seconds the, that the commission authorize written permission for the issuance of a building permit for this property. Discussion, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, I have one question for the Board of Health. Have you done anything with the Board of Health yet? For the
Yeah, they
septic
already
system?
have the design, looking at the plan review now. I already paid for the issuance of the permit. It's gonna fly, it's all beautiful gravel there.
Cause
It's a non-engineered system,
But, you've been sitting here listening to me say stuff about septic, but I know your family's on this property. For
And I am a licensed septic installer.
And I know your family's been on this property for years and years, so,
Yeah, my grandfather bought that property in 1958.
it's a little different than somebody that's just trying to do something compared to somebody that, in my eyes anyway.
Mr. Santos?
I just wanted on the record that this gentleman's been advised that we were concerned about emergency egress getting to and from the structure.
Yep.
That's it, but I'm not gonna stop you from doing it.
Duly noted.
You
Thank
want
you,
that
Mr.
just in
Santos.
the letter That I send to
I do.
the
For me,
building
I
office, okay.
don't know if everyone else agrees with that, but.
I agree with that.
I think, yeah, I agree.
Hear no opposition. Yes vote will. This commission will send written permission for the issuance of a building permit as appropriate. Mr. Hill.
Yes. Mike Vogel, yes.
Russell Robin, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
Ryan Santos, yes.
Randy Blackmer, yes.
Ryan Canor, yes.
John B. Linky, yes.
Ms. Orr,
Eyes or Levack, yes.
Joseph Brody Brown, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 13C, request to conduct outdoor flea market at 347 Riverside Drive.
So that piece of property, is the property that we gave, the ZBA gave a certificate of location for used auto dealerships. And then you gave them the special permit to do that. They've been held up on, following through on that, business that they want to put in there through the building department and the commercial, because of the condition of the building. So, one of the owners of the property called me up and asked me if she could have a outdoor retail flea market there. She said she'd like to make use of the property until they get everything straightened out with building the fire marshal, and she'd like to start making some money. And she feels that she could do this on an outdoor flea market. So I really didn't know where to go to look for that, except for retail, but this is outside. My answer to her would be yes. It's your business, it's your property, you want an outdoor flea market. So I don't know if anybody. Retail, okay. Table of permitted uses, number 18, retail sales requires a zoning permit with site plan review by the commission. Property owner is not sure this will be a permanent use and is requesting directions on the requirements for temporary use. So.
I think temporary or permanent.
I
think temporary or permanent, a use is a use.
So site plan review by the commission.
Yeah.
Okay.
Randy had a question.
So is that gonna be picked up? I mean, I assume it'd be like a weekend yard sales. It's not gonna turn into I don't wanna see it.
Turn into 1097, sure.
Yeah,
Well, so they'll have to come, they'll come next month, I assume.
So you put that as a condition.
Mhm.
yeah, when they're not open as a yard sale, they pick the stuff up, don't leave it
Right.
scattered all over
Okay.
the lot.
Yeah, well, we'll be able to ask all these questions when the site plan comes in.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
But
done.
that was my first thought too, Mr. Hill. Item 14, review of CBA minutes. Any questions on those that we received? Item 15, citizens' comments.
The Warners have had their hand up for quite some time.
Okay, I'm gonna. Mr. and Mrs. Warner.
Hello, this is Bill Warner, Lowell Davis Road. I think the board should instruct the CEO to stop her cease and desist order on the farm on Quadic Town Farm Road. The farm has been there since before zoning. They've been keeping pigs there for a long time. And every spring, they breed them so that they can get piglets to sell for pig roast during the summertime. So yes, at this point of the year, they're selling their pigs and they'll be gone. But next year it's going to happen again. They're going to breed them again. They're going to have the piglets again. And the fact of the matter is, it's grandfathered in. And And all the time they've been there, this is the first time there's been any complaints, and that's probably because a new neighbor moved into the neighborhood. Or it could be because it was the weather we've had, it's been moist and it's made the smell worse at that area. But this is a continuing situation. And you can't do a cease and desist order because he's gonna do it again next year. And if you keep going after him, he's just gonna end up suing the town. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warner. Ms. Clark?
Valerie Clark, Elm Road. 2 comments. As a longtime supporter of, and very vocal supporter of the OWL system, and as well as a vocal supporter of the hybrid meetings so that citizens can more easily participate in their town government, I wanted to be sure that the commission understood that my chat comments were purely regarding my inability to hear clearly at this meeting. My last comment, which I didn't appreciate having twisted, was to show that I was not in any way, shape, or form a shill of some sort that was feeding the discussion, because I was not aware that that discussion, which is perfectly fine for you all to have had because it's your meeting, but I wanted to make sure the commission was aware that I was not trying to feed a discussion. I was indeed having difficulty hearing at this particular meeting, once again, because of the technology that's being used in the room. That said, my next item is that I agree with Mr. Warner that this farm has been there raising pigs as well as other livestock prior to zoning regulations being in place. They are grandfathered, and I agree that changing the zoning after the fact of them being there does not mean that you can then go after them for a use that they have had in place for decades, nearly a century. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Mr. Mann.
I'm Robert Mann, 15 Meadow Drive. I know you have a lot of discussion about the lake lots down there at the pond. I just want to bring up, the foreclosure deed from when the town foreclosed on those properties down there. And it's basically just, I'll say it on the record, it's volume 65, page 425. And it has a list of all the lots the town foreclosed on. And it says, on the bottom of it says, the lots being the remaining portion of those premises located in the town of Thompson, standing in the name of Edward Parker and fully described by meters and bounds in a warranty deed of Tyrese Johnson to E.L. Parker, DBA Lake Realty Company, July 25th, 1947, and compliant of said town of Thompson against said Edward Parker in the court of where I lost my place here, a court of common pleas at Willimantic in the county of Windham County in the 21st day of March 1955. The time limited for redemption on said judgment has passed. So this is the foreclosure for all of those lake lots down there. One of those lots down there is waterfront lot C. Now, this is 1955 that the town foreclosed, and then the Board of Selectmen back then voted to sell lot C to the state of Connecticut for a boat ramp. And in that deed, the town of Thompson sold the rights to the state to use the roads down there. So how do you sell rights to use roads that you don't own? Because the town's been denying they own the roads down there, Lakeview and Center Street. For decades, they've been saying they don't own them. But they sold the rights to the state to use those roads to access the state boat ramp. And that's something I think that the board should look into in this, is that deed, and how did the Board of Selectmen back in 1955 sell the state boat ramp to the state of Connecticut for the use of the public to fish and boat? And that's a very important thing. And another thing is all the deeds down there of all the properties, you're talking about selling these lots and restricting the use. But all of the deeds down there in that neighborhood, when you read them, they give the person from the developer, he gave everybody a right to build on lots down there. And it says on the deed that you can build a 14 by 18 dwelling on those properties down there. So I don't know how the deed that the town foreclosed from him doesn't give those rights. But you're gonna try restricting those rights that were in that development at one time. Now, I don't know if that's in those deeds or not. Because those deeds aren't available because they never went from the developer to anybody else. So they were never sold with rights to use the roads, those lots back there. But yet, at the time of the development, the roads were actually there. There's an aerial photograph from, I think it's 1965, that you could plainly see that all the roads were in that development at one time. But that's the big deal. The deed confusion is gonna be confusion because, the town did sell rights to use Lakeview and Center Street for the public of the state of Connecticut. Then prior to that boat ramp being sold to the state, there's 2 other deeds that were, people that the Belding Hemingway Club had at one time a lease. The owner of that property had a lease that he leased to the state. So you can go public use all the way back to like 1947 down there. That the publics had the rights to use Lakeview and Center Street. I'm saying those 2 streets. I'm not saying the rest of them. I'm just saying those 2 streets. And the town of Thompson pays for 2 streetlights on those streets too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tara, is that a comment?
I think that's one that I'd never opened for Valerie before. Yeah,
Was looking
yeah, she was,
at a picture of the.
she was just reiterating the
view of
comment from the chat.
them roads. Wow.
Okay, thank you. Item 15, nope, we just did that. 16, commissioners' comments. Before I go to you, I wanna, there was something that during the minutes, you were asking a question.
I
And
was
I
asking
put the hold on
about,
it.
the sidewalks being
But
put
the
down on,
sidewalks. Yeah,
northeast
Northeast
end
end
and
and
gravel.
is that
But
Cindy
the-
something you can look
The
into?
state don't usually just dump stuff on people's property without being told to, and if we're gonna get nailed, I'd like to know who told them they could dump that there.
Is that something you're able to look into?
I can look into it, but it certainly didn't come from our office.
Right, yeah,
I can look into it if that's what you want. me to do.
yes, please, thank you, Ray. Mr. Santos.
I just wanted to apologize to Mr. Clark. The comment came up quickly. I read it and I didn't mean to twist it. If that's what happened, and I just want to apologize for that confusion on my part. Secondly, I would like to do an evaluation of all of our fees, values, and structure at some point in the near future. I think it's an appropriate review. And I'll leave it at that.
You could conceivably do that as a part of your annual regs review. You do include it as an appendix.
So it can be edited more, at a different time, right? That's why it's an appendix.
Right.
Yeah, but I think if that time frame works for you, Mr. Santos, I
Yes.
think it's a logical one. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Mr. Hill.
Today, we understand that our wonderful governor has vetoed House Bill 5002.
Speak up.
Speak louder.
What's that?
Speak louder,
Oh,
please.
I didn't think my voice was that long.
It is.
You're
The
responsible
owl,
guy, Al.
sure. Again, we restate what I've just said, that our lovely governor has vetoed House Bill 5002. I'm very happy about it. I have written this afternoon to several of the leadership of the Republican Party that without it, well, anyway, I think both House the House and the Senate wanted to rewrite zoning to include homeless people. And what I asked our representative is that I would urge you to look at House Bill 5002 and substitute, or rather add to, the definition of homeless. In my definition, homeless people that are U.S. citizens, American citizens. We're finding now that 25% of our high school students are in need special services to an ungodly amount of money. The vast majority of these people are renting and costing us taxpayers lots of money. And if this bill, the Senate bill, that would include every town in Connecticut, if without a proper definition of homeless, I'm going to be very angry against, I don't care what party is ignoring that definition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
I would just add to that, Alvin, that I don't think that it supports the values, that bill, so I was very glad that the governor. I don't think that bill supported the values of Northeast Connecticut. I don't think that it embraces the last Green Valley, all the things in that bill were, I was against also, so I'm agreeing with you. The governor saying that he
Thank you.
I don't think it supported what Northeast Connecticut's values.
Show me the numbers.
Thank you, Mr. Canoyer. Mr. Krogel.
I'm looking for clarification about this OWL system. The way the motion has been made, it is subject to having funding at the end of the fiscal year or when our new budget comes into place. Because right now,
June 30th.
June 30th. Our fiscal year ends. We are not voting on the budget until January 2nd, July 2nd. July 2nd. I'm trying to cool down here. That's why I keep saying these winter months. So I mean, that'll put everything in limbo. Because if it's not, someone's saying it was taken out of next year's budget. And we will not have that money after June 30th.
Yeah.
According to my understanding.
Thank you, Mr. Krogel. Mr. Canoyer, and correct me if you disagree, I think logic would dictate that the motion was to authorize spending appropriated for the 24-25 fiscal year. And so the condition that the funding be available is tied to the 24-25 fiscal year.
Right, because it's.
So
Is that-
we don't have any major expenses in the next 10 days.
Is that your understanding as well?
That is, yeah.
So if we don't have any major expenses in the next 7 to 8
Week.
days,
7 days.
the
yeah.
money will be there.
That's right. That's mine.
Thank you, Mr. Krogel. Thank you. Okay, seeing no other commissioner comments, Mr. Lenke,
I make a motion, we adjourn.
for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry, you gotta say number 7.
I'm sorry, you're right, I skipped ahead. Our next meeting is July 28th, 2025, 7 p.m. right here, and we'll be on Zoom. Hopefully, it's 20 degrees cooler. Mr. Lenke has moved, we adjourn, seconded by Mr. Hill. All those in favor say aye. We are in adjournment.
8:54.
8:54. 45 minutes longer than last one. But I can